Okay. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Good evening. We're having some new technology setup issues. So, welcome to the board meeting. We're going to start tonight with the pledge. If you'll join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to start out this evening with swearing in. Judge Sadler's here to assist us this evening. Both Mr. Bailey and Mr. Hodges, they decided to do it tonight. Yep.
We, by code, you can do it prior to, therefore by the 1st, you're already sworn in before 9 o'clock. So we got it ahead of time, so made this available.
So you guys want to go to the front and we'll get out of the room to get out of the way? Or?
Yeah, we'll just, who's going first? You got them, Amy? You will move them wherever you want them to go. So who do you got, Mr. Bailey first or Mr. Hodges?
Alphabetical order? Yeah. Can you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Jim Bailey.
I, Jim Bailey,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of West
and
Virginia,
the Constitution of the State of West Virginia,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
member of the Board of Education of the County of Mercer
member of the Board of Education of the County of Mercer
to the best of my skill and judgment.
to the best of my skill and judgment,
So help me God.
so help me God.
All right. Let me move over there. You ready?
Amber,
Right hand, repeat after me. I, Paul Hodges,
I, Paul Hodges,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of West
and the
Virginia,
Constitution of the State of West Virginia,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
the office of
the office of
member of the Board of Education of the County of Mercer
member of the Board of Education of the County of Mercer
to the best of my skill and
to the
judgment.
best of my skill and judgment.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Dr. Adams. Where'd Amber go? Where'd Amber go? Oh, she's back behind Amy. I got you. Good. Got you back there. I need to move her up. And Dr. Bowling will notarize.
You know, be official.
Thank you, Your Honor, for coming in on the evening. Thank you, sir.
My privilege.
We'll stay down there for recognitions and
Okay, sure.
President.
Okay, we are now going to move to our board recognizes portion of this board meeting. Our first is 110% Club. Ms. Stephanie Farah is a longstanding volunteer at Princeton Middle School. She is the go-to person for concessions, PTO, fundraising, staff rewards, and so much more. Ms. Farah is creative and energetic, and she is always the smiling face behind the table. Her tireless work has provided students and staff with supplies, comforts, and essential needs, as well as money for field trips and rewards. Ms. Farah's generosity is endless, and everyone at Princeton Middle School has been blessed by her loving dedication. Ms. Stephanie Farah.
Thank you.
Our second 110% club is for Mr. Pete Sarver. He is a lifelong resident of Bluefield, West Virginia. Pete is a 1969 graduate of Bluefield High School. He was an all-star football player at Bluefield High School. He continued his athletic career at Wake Forest University, where he obtained a bachelor's degree.
Go Deeks.
Just send us Wake Forest. Mr. Sarver spent many years as a salesman for his family's business. Pete has always been a staple at Bluefield High School, coaching and volunteering for most of his life. For the last 13 years, Pete has served in many positions at the school. He has served as a mentor facilitator and most recently served in many long-term substitute teaching positions. Mr. Sarver and his late wife Deb have been coined as Mr. and Mrs. Bluefield High, for they both have always had a love for the school. They were both named to the Bluefield High School Hall of Fame in 2018. Pete is always willing to do whatever it takes to keep the wheels rolling on what he calls the brain plant on Cumberland Road. Mr. Pete Sarver.
Football stuff.
Oh, wow, I'm impressed.
Now he's a super.
You're welcome. Very well deserved. You're doing great.
Thank you very much.
That's awesome.
Our next award is Certificate of Achievement, Freedom Flag. Mr. Dayton Meadows is being recognized for his work with Mercer County Schools on the Patriots Pledge ceremony. This ceremony recognizes students who have enlisted in the armed service. Mr. Meadows provides $1,000 prizes for students winning the patriotism essays and $500 prizes for the patriotism artwork. Thank you, Mr. Meadows, Mr. Dayton Meadows.
Love our country, love Mercer County patriotism.
Thank you. That's not pretty bad, as you told me, huh? Thank you.
Wanted a minute, I got
You,
3 seconds.
no, you got a minute. You got as long as you want, sir. Go ahead, seriously. Thank you for, Randy, you got that.
Mercer County schools, I've traveled all over the world, is absolutely, we deal with them. I don't deserve the award as much as I do the people in the community that made all this happen. I just can't explain how great this school system is. I was a recruiter for 3 years on production, and I traveled to a lot of different schools, the best.
Thank you. And we started a military award banquet this year, and Mr. Meadows handed out, I think, 25,000 or 2,500. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. And yeah, but thank you, and all the gifts. But we recognized all our kids
I put
that
up the
signed up.
money, you all made it.
Jenny Collis and our staff and your idea, and like I said, from that, it just took off, so thank you, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Our next award, Certificate of Achievement for Class AA All-State Softball First Team. The West Virginia Sports Writer Association has selected Isabella Smith and Grace Richardson, senior students at Bluefield High School, to the Class AA All-State Softball First Team. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
He said Ernie already. He did. Do you want to take Isabella's mic? You can give it to her when school starts back.
She's graduating.
Oh, she's graduating. Okay, she'll start her.
Our next award is Certificate of Achievement, Class AA All-State Baseball First Team. The West Virginia Sports Writers Association has selected Eli Hilling, a freshman at Pikeview High School, to the Class AA All-State Baseball First Team. Congratulations, Eli.
Thank you. Anything else? And we don't need the microphone for this one, but Vice President, do you want to speak and read that on this?
Sure.
And you guys got this one also to recognize the
So this past week, Dr. Atkins, over here with Mike, at the WDASA conference, he was recognized and voted as the Outstanding Assistant Deputy Superintendent of the Year for 2024.
We received that plaque,
We
and
wanted to recognize him too.
as the Board of Ed wanted to recognize you, so thank you, Dr. Atkins, and why don't you get him in the middle? Get him in the middle. Get him in the middle.
Just can't follow the record.
Thank
I'm just a member of a really good team.
you, sir. I'll call Greg.
You may need to text him that I'll text him and tell him you're calling on that
Okay.
number, so he'll
I
answer.
got you. Is that what he wanted?
Well, no, I'm just thinking he might not recognize the number.
Yeah.
Jacinda,
Uh-huh.
at this point, Greg usually tells our guests if they don't want to
Oh,
stay
yes.
for the meeting.
If you came for recognitions, you are more than welcome to stay, but if you want to leave, we totally understand. So, if you want to enjoy your evening, this would be a great time to do so, or, as I said, anybody's always welcome to stay. Thank you,
I got a dial
Jim.
tone on this thing.
Brett, we need assistance. Please.
Is it even
It might not even be plugged in.
plugged in?
I'll call him on myself.
There's no dial tone on this thingy. Do you get a dial tone?
Normally you do.
Okay.
Should be, hit the off hook button.
What's it say there?
That's not, no bueno.
Okay, I'll just call
We
him
can,
on
he can just
myself.
call on his
You
cell
wanna use-
phone.
Yeah, call on the speaker. Yeah, we're gonna have to.
All right, I'll
Okay.
text it him.
I got him right here. Hello, Mr. Prudich.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you good. Do you want, we had trouble with this, this calling system here, so I called you on my cell phone. So I have you right here, and we can hear you good, all right? Thank you, sir. Whoops, I lost him.
Gotta love technology.
That one's, it should come back up.
Don't be a hater, Jim. Can you see this over?
Hello?
You're back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Me either, so we got you. So good deal. Thanks, sir. We
Okay,
just
thank you.
did the recognitions, and we're ready to, with my little update.
Okay.
You
Can
ready?
you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, we're ready for your update, Mr. Hunt.
So my update, just real quick, last week we had the West Virginia Association of School Administrators Conference, and myself, Dr. Atkins, Mrs. Mitchell, and Dr. Bowling went, along with Dr. Vaughn had a presentation with virtual schools along with Fayette County and with proximity. So we had a very good day. One day, we before the meeting started that evening, we worked in the office and planning for the 2024-25 school year. Dr. Atkins, Mrs. Mitchell, and Dr. Bowling and I. So we're very pleased with that. I do have a copy of the agenda that I gave you in your packet. Also, the Juneteenth celebration. You know, that was a holiday that we had, employees had a day off, but I want to thank Alicia Crawford that set up a Mercer County Schools table at the celebration, and got a lot of great comments over for recruiting, for giving out information on our schools, to anything there. So I just want to recognize her and thank her for coming in and swapping a day for us when trying to get somebody there for Mercer County Schools when I was out of town that day. Bluefield State University Board of Governors appointment. I want to let you guys know that I was appointed by Governor Jim Justice on June 18th. I was sworn in on the 20th at the Bluefield State University's Board of Governors. Want to let you know that. And also the first and second, that is the 2024 Jason National Conference, the Trailblazers of Tomorrow Innovation in STEM in Leesburg, Virginia, next Monday, July 1st and July 2nd. I wanted to, I got a draft agenda. As you know, this isn't out for public yet, but I want to share with you that they shared that with me since I am presenting a couple times on there about the STEM certification along with the Argonaut program. But some things there that we're excited that we have a team going, and I'll bring back information that I'm excited for that conference on Monday and Tuesday. President Prudich, as you know, that day, I'll get on Teams, but that's just the organizational meeting that may last 5 minutes, and I think we got that scheduled at 9 o'clock, but if you're good with that, that's our plan on the 1st, and that's what we're looking at.
We do. It's just a swearing in. And
We
then,
already did the swearing in
we'll-
tonight.
Yeah, and I did the swearing in tonight. I did that in the past, and I didn't have that on the agenda, but Judge Stadler was here today and
Right.
did that. And at one point, when we had the meetings on the 3rd and the 1st or whatever, I thought we get these board members ready to go right at the 12 o'clock midnight. They're sworn in, they're ready to go. So we got them ahead of time, if that's okay.
Then the only thing we'll be doing at the meeting is electing officers and appointments to the various things that need to be appointed to.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Good deal. And that's all I have. Other than new Timberwood Elementary School updates, Mr. Atkins, you got that email this morning on any updates there, but Mr. Atkins, anything else?
I just got word today that they should finish the pouring of the ICF road on the second floor. Good weather, so.
Good, thank you. Very good weather for mud up that way. That's been for a while, so good deal. But anything else, members of the board? And thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Okay. All right, we don't have any citizens input. I checked while I was down there, so policy 2322 updates. Dr. Atkins, do you have
Yeah.
any?
Just briefly, I will share that our the GSA data is rolling in. I think the day after principals were finished, we started getting the ELA data. It's slower because the writing's hand-scored, but I do think that, of course, that's embargoed. We can't really talk about it yet, but I do think we're going to have a lot to celebrate, some very bright spots, and then some other areas to target. And that's what data is for, is to see where you're doing well and where you're having challenges. Also, just wanted to briefly share that at the WASA conference, we attended some very good professional development sessions there. Mr. Chairman and I went to one on 2322, and Jeff Kelly spoke about the efficiency standards. You know, the balanced scorecard is what we are measured by. And Mr. Bailey says he's a businessman. He likes to see the numbers, and we'll have those, you know, in the fall. We'd like to have them sooner, and it has the full assessment of the system. So that was interesting hearing from him and those perspectives on that. And then also, I think all of us attended one on new teacher induction, the new teacher programs, and Cabell County did a presentation. Kelly Watts is
Deputy
there or
Superintendent.
something. She was with Risa Ford. I worked with her a long time ago. Just has done a lot of things, but they're doing some neat things there, using a program, a self-recording program called SIBME, where you can watch yourself teach, and we'll do a lot of virtual type support.
cool.
So really interesting. Other districts near us are using that as well. So we're going to explore that further, to see if we can start doing things a little more differently than we've done in the past too. So just some good ideas from that conference.
Great.
Arnie, when you get the numbers back and it shows the good, the bad, and the ugly, will a plan of action be taken or be established to where, okay, we're doing the good stuff and we're going to continue because it appears to be working, but the bad and the ugly, are we going to have a plan of action to move to?
Yeah.
And we'll share all that.
Okay.
And even the comprehensive support schools, the plan of actions that have been in place, like I said, when you had Bluefield or Bluewell Elementary, we had Bluefield Middle School, so all those things from the different things from special ed to other areas, those plan of actions have been brought to you and updated to the board. That's part of the strategic planning and going over those things. And Jeff Kelly, along with Christine Miller is the appointed superintendent at Upshur County, so they did it as a team of going in and doing where they had the state takeover over finances, personnel, and things they were doing incorrectly in Upshur County that they went in. What was the big key is they do give you notice when they do have a concern. And what happened in the ones that they have taken over is they ignored them and didn't take care of those things. So that's the piece that I think, information, giving you these, when you look at our board minutes that Dr. Bowling's putting together, all those things are stated that they look at those. And that's why I said, like your guys' evaluation that you just did, that Mr. Prudich sent out, that all those things are those accountability pieces that what we're looking at. So I think that's there, and we'll keep bringing you information so you're informed on all those things from the finances, as Mrs. Wellman went through. But we're ready to do some things from academic piece starting July 1 a little differently, and bringing you some support that way of what we're going to do. So any other questions, President Prudich, Vice President Smith?
Nope, not for me.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Acker. Yeah.
Yes. Will be filled soon. Okay. All right, then we'll move on to approval of the minutes. We have minutes from June 10th, 2024. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
The one correction, they know.
Do I have a second?
No,
Is there a correction?
there is a correction, yes.
Under the personnel section, on that one,
Uh-huh.
it still has 5 and over, and it should be, I need to fix the name as
Should be.
well as the number.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you amend your motion to include that adjustment? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
and-
fix the person making the motion, it should be Mr. Godfrey, and then it should be 3 and
So you're okay with that amended? Okay. All right, do I have a second? Okay. Yeah. Well, I wasn't either, so that doesn't help. All right. Then, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye.
I vote aye.
Okay, thank you. And opposed? So that passes 4-0. All right. Now we will move on to tonight's consent agenda. And the first memo.
Yeah. That would be the virtual education, second reading of a change in that policy.
Is that before the consent?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, it didn't get on the vote sheet. Okay,
It's old
sorry.
business.
Sorry,
old business.
I'm getting to it. All right, I see that. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so this is Board Memo 350, Policy I-15, Virtual Education Program. So the policy is being changed to update and clarify language and to make grammatical changes. There were no comments received. Mr. Toman recommends approval. So do I have a motion for that?
Second.
Are you getting those, Amber, since I don't have it on here? Okay. All right. Everyone in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so that passes 4-0. All right, now we're to the consent agenda. First up is Board Memo 390, Renewal of College Contracts for Placement of Students for Clinical Experiences for 2025, and this is for Marshall University and Marshall University Counseling Placements. The contracts are attached for your review. Board Memo 391, Contracted Services Agreement for Occupational Therapy. This includes speech, physical therapy, OT, vision, behavioral mental, academic services for gifted and special ed. The prior year amount paid was $774,903, and the year-to-date amount paid is $653,463. And Mr. Toman recommends approval with Best Life Therapy for Occupational and Physical Therapy Services for next year's school year, 24-25. Uh-huh. That would be helpful if there was is there a way to tab it somehow? I mean, not tonight, but in the future, to where we could, because in that one where it had the old policy, the new, it's a lot of screens to get. If that's possible, that would be helpful, just to
And-
click to go to the next one.
I want to mention that at my Board of Governors meeting on Thursday, it was all on iPads.
Yeah.
That they put everything on iPads. I just want to let you know, things are different everywhere, so I
Yeah.
just say it was.
My husband's was like that from
Yeah.
the osteopathic
Yeah.
school board too. Okay, but that would be helpful if you can look at it. Okay, are you caught up to 393 now? Or that's what we just did, was 393?
No.
Now we're, no, we did
No,
392.
we did 391. We haven't done 392 yet.
Oh, yes, they all look the same. Sorry about that. Thank you, Jim. Okay. So now we're on Board Memo 392, Contracted Services Occupational Therapy. All the same data that I mentioned in the last one. So this just has one for each type of therapy. So then Board Memo 393 is also occupational therapy. I don't know what the difference is between that one and the one before it. but-
Different company.
Different company, okay. Oh, yes, one's Best Life. No, they're both Best Life.
Is this one best?
Yeah,
This one's with Crystal Thompson, the speech language pathologist. She must be on her own.
maybe.
She's on her own. Shannon says she's on her own.
Okay, all right. Then Board Memo 394, Contracted Services for Occupational Therapy. And that is for, I don't see a name on there either.
394 is for speech services.
394?
Yep.
It says occupational therapy in the title, right?
No.
Not what ours said. The contract services agreement,
Speech services.
I wonder if this has been edited since this copy
Ling-
that I
Lingua
have.
Care Associates.
Am I supposed to be working off the copy that was in my email? So what do you have for 394?
Speech services?
Well, this
Bring
is,
it back over
this
here.
says occupational therapy on mine, look. Am I crazy?
Yeah.
For clarification, I have what Jacinda has.
Greg
I
has,
did-
Greg has what I have too. I don't know.
It did a three-peat, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I see too.
That's what I said, they all look the same. Did something get substituted after the email was sent out?
Because I pulled it up from the sent email on my computer.
Oh, that's weird. Don't yours all look the
391,
same?
392, 393, 394,
All
and
say-
395 all read exactly
They all say the same. That's what I'm seeing too.
On the complete email.
Right.
Do you have repeated ones too? It's different? Why would that be? That's so weird, because I just opened it on here when I got here, so.
You need this one? You're in charge. That's more important
I
than
mean,
ours.
maybe. You want to trade me? Okay.
You take this and I'll
If I
pretend like I
may,
know what I'm doing.
I make a motion that those three be removed from the consent agenda pending
Right.
clarification.
Will that cause a problem? Where's Shannon? Does that cause a problem? He was saying if we remove these and put them on the next agenda, just because of the confusion, is that gonna cause any disruption of,
No,
because we're in the summer? Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's a good suggestion.
Nobody asked me to have them done for this machine, but for summer services. But like, Lincoln, like, I don't know, like, Lincoln Care, like, Cindy Cooper is a hired employee, and North County employee, and she's providing speech, she is Suzanne Martin providing the speech services, she has, okay.
But if-
So I didn't need them, so some of them.
So if they're, if they're under
We meet again on
contract right
Monday.
now till this school
Yeah,
year.
we
or
meet again
fiscal
on
year,
Monday, so we can do
Yeah.
it Monday. That's a good point, Greg.
can put it
Could
on
we
the-
bring them Monday and do them?
I mean, it's just a matter of saying
I
a
mean, I
special
think it's
meeting.
not great for everybody not to see them, because we
Was
can't.
you shaking
well, I
your
mean,
head
I
no?
can-
Eh,
Greg
what-
can't see them, even if I can
I
see them.
can't vote on something I can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Greg, you want to do all of them or just the ones that you can't see?
He can't, he can only see one,
They're
which
all
is all I
five the
can
same.
see. Yeah, they all
They're
look
all
the same.
identical.
So which ones would that be?
The first one is the one we could see, because now I'm looking at Paul's. We could only see the first one. 391 is correct.
So we'll move
Do they need,
392
so are you saying
through-
they need to be voted on tonight?
Shannon says no. Yeah, I mean, like, for extended school year, our speech therapists now, I don't know about, I think.
Well, it's only gonna be a week, because we're meeting
Yeah,
on
Monday.
Monday.
I mean, it's
Well,
only,
the fiscal year doesn't start until
yeah, so
Monday.
we're
Yeah,
good.
if it's for,
I
yeah,
don't
the
have,
fiscal year,
So you just
yeah,
put it
it
on-
shouldn't start
Yeah.
till
Just put it
the
on our
first
special
anyway,
agenda for
right?
Monday.
Can we do that now? Can
Okay.
that be added?
Sure, and
Amber,
that
can you
agenda-
do that?
yeah, the agenda will go out.
I'm sending it back to Mr. Prudish, the way I have it,
Okay.
to see if it fixes.
Amber's sending you a new email now,
Are
Greg.
you able to get a new email, Mr. Prudish, or no?
I can. If
Yeah.
it comes to me, I can get it.
Well, why don't we just put it on the agenda
wanna-
for Monday?
If it's not, if it's,
Vote on
if
everything.
it doesn't take effect till Monday anyway, that seems like the cleanest thing to do to me. So let's pull 391 through 395 and put those on Monday's agenda. That's probably the cleanest way to do it.
91, 92, 93, 94, and 5.
Yes,
Gotcha.
all right. Paul, if you see anything different on my copy from what I'm saying, let me know, so we may have to pull something else. All right.
It should be on 396.
So you should be on 396 now. Okay, so 396 is bid number 947, change order number 3 for plumbing revisions for kitchen and boiler room at Athens. This is just to approve a change order for revisions done under that bid. The amount of the change order is $79,947. A detailed description is attached. Mr. Toman recommends approval for the change order. Okay. Any questions about that? I guess we'll do questions
We'll do
at the
that.
end.
Move we approve.
No,
Well,
yeah.
no, this is still
Oh, it's
consent.
consent.
Yeah, I know, we're all confused. It's okay. All right, now we're down to 397, which is list of student observers for Education 280 General Methods from Bluefield State. So the listing of students is attached. Again, we have to approve those for liability reasons. Then Board Memo 398 is listing of student teachers for year-long residency 1 and 2 from Bluefield State, which is the new equivalent to student teaching, I think. And Board Memo 399 is for, I don't know how you, this is Danielian, but how do you say the first, the Savas Danielian? Is that a person?
That's a company.
Okay. I know Danielian because my mom, but I don't know Savas. Okay. Savas Danielian handwriting consumable workbooks. This is for 3,617 handwriting workbooks for next school year. Handwriting is not an adopted subject with the WBBOE, so there's no publishing contract available. We had quotes from 3 different vendors, and the recommendation is to purchase the workbooks from James and Law in Clarksburg for $58,740.08. Board Memo 400, surplus sale of textbooks. And there's a list attached of surplus textbooks that can be sold. We're on 401 now. We're getting ready to do 401. Board Memo 401 is bid number 959 for vending of snacks and drinks. This is for child nutrition. We had 4 vendors that we requested bids from. We got bids from 2 vendors, and the recommendation is to award the bid to Mountain Vending and Quick Cafe for next school year. And there's a list attached of items that will be vended and the vendors. Board Memo 402 is,
No, I'm sorry.
am I right?
Yep.
Okay, stop me if I'm not. Career Connection Business Partners. This adds 1 new business partner for this current 23-24 school year, which is Lively Pediatrics. And Board Memo 403, still on the consent agenda, is payment of invoices for June. Checks will be issued to vendors upon school board approval.
Oh, that's been approved.
Yeah, is that what you have?
I got a contract of service agreement with occupational therapy.
Oh,
Yeah, and
no.
that one, Dr. Bowling repeated in there too, also on 400. Somehow it said contracted services on occupational therapy too on this email. 400 and 403 in my email also, right?
It's a quick,
No, 400 was,
It had the correct one and the wrong one, or just the wrong one?
400 had the wrong one in my email that I'm looking at along with
Well,
Mr.
I was
Hodges.
looking at, okay.
So
should we
some
pull that
reason,
too?
there's some email, but mine's on the complete one.
Yeah, so it's fine unless.
So I don't know. We'll have to
That's
track
weird.
that down tomorrow.
I don't know what's going on with it.
But yeah, Mr. Prudick, you got it on your good one now?
I have it the same way. I haven't looked at the new one yet, but it's
Okay.
the same way.
That's 400 and 403, yeah.
Even 404 says.
Is
Yeah.
yours is repeating too?
Services.
Yeah, contract services got in there several times for some reason on this complete email that I've got, Dr. Boland.
Do,
after that 403, where it says occupational therapy, right below that, it looks to be all the numbers for the contracts.
for the checks?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's just the
Maybe
wrong
down,
memo?
Yeah.
So do we need to pull board memo 400?
No, because it's not the,
That's,
in my opinion, it's just, it's a.
that's a surplus textbook,
Cover
Yeah.
page issue.
Yeah.
It's not the data.
not the
data's
actual
all
data.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So same for the payment of invoices, because
Yeah,
the
it's
data's all
We just
there.
need to know the amounts. And
Okay,
you announce those and we know them.
okay,
Good deal.
all right. Well, I don't have, there's not a total amount on here on the
Well,
memo.
yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I was thinking of.
That's okay.
Something else.
Okay, all right, then we'll move to board memo 404,
Contracted services.
which that's not right either, but it's purchasing
Okay,
card
so
transactions.
P-card transition.
P-card transactions, which, but you have the transactions,
We do.
right? You just don't have the right memo.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Greg, you have the transactions as well.
I do have the yeah, it's just the cover page. It's not the actual
Yeah,
information.
the issue was with this, with the service ones, the information was on the actual page. That was the issue.
Exactly.
Okay, so just to review, we are pulling Board Memo 391, 392, 393, 394, and 395 from the consent agenda, and those will be added to Monday's meeting on a consent or other agenda for that day. So we are now going to vote on the other consent agenda items. So on those remaining items, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, I'm sorry. What was your question?
Well, Jerry motion first. I just want to know the handwriting handbook, is that the same book we've been using?
Yes.
And then the second question, more importantly, how's handwriting going? Are we accomplishing what we hope to do?
I think so. I mean, I think that, and our writing is getting better. You know, we spent a lot of time last year. We created a committee with representatives from every school, known strong teachers of writing, and developed a plan K through 5 and tackled that. And I do think we're seeing results on our summative from that. This is just the actual teaching.
This is handwriting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the chameleon is different from the same person because it lends itself more to learn the right person later. You know, so that's why we use that.
Oh, so this is not actually cursive, this is a pre-step to cursive?
Yes.
Is that?
It's print, yes, it's
Printing.
first.
Oh,
Yeah, it's primary.
Okay.
so second grade really doesn't really taught cursive?
Second half of second grade.
That's when they start teaching cursive. Okay. Some of my kids, I'm very proud that they've written their name in cursive.
They love it. They love it. Kids love learning.
I pulled up on my phone.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
With regards to all of the new contract services agreements, Leslie, Shannon was explaining to me the whole process, and how kids get in these programs. Then a bill goes to Medicaid if they qualify. So when I saw this one for speech services or something was $700,000. So we bill for that, and then we're compensated whatever Medicaid will pay, and then we're on the hook for the rest of it. So how do you budget, since we're approving 24-25 expenses? How do you take that into consideration? Shouldn't we send these contracts out in March and let them tell us what what they want, so you have a better way of being able to budget for it?
We don't budget at that level of detail. We just use what is there.
Okay.
What's there, in there from prior experience.
Okay.
Our
I'm just,
records are not nearly that detailed.
Okay.
So we can do that.
okay, just curious.
Well, and the Medicare rates should be known and
Yeah.
published too, so,
Okay, that's all I had.
okay, all right.
What- I got a question for Tom. Hey, Tom, how come you had to do this plumbing revision? Was it something when they got into the job, they found out that wasn't able to be found on the front end, or you're doing additional?
If you recall, probably a month and a half ago, I sent an update about water leak that
Yeah.
potentially runs our MVP.
Yep,
This is so that if there is a potential again, then we're not having that.
good, okay.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
Nope.
Greg, any questions?
I've got no questions.
Okay, then we're ready for a vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Uh,
And opposed? He's making sure I hear him, which I appreciate.
He's good.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so opposed, there's no one left to oppose, so that passes 4-0. So that is the consent agenda. Okay. Now we are moving on to additional business, which will start with Board Memo 405. All right. So Board Memo 405 is continued subscription to Travel Tracker Transportation Software Co-op pricing. We requested an updated subscription pricing through Buy Board Co-op. The renewal cost is $80,190, which is a 4% increase from last year. And Mr. Toman recommends approval. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Brent's
Given the
here.
expense of the software, are we saving, are our savings consistent with the amount of money we're spending by using this software?
Did you hear that?
Mr. Rose is here
Yeah.
and Brent, so I'm not sure.
I couldn't hear the.
He was asking if we are saving something equivalent to the $80,000 cost of the Travel Tracker software.
Well, the travel tracker software that we're actually working with now is, we've had Frank Campbell come down, he's been helping us with the routes and stuff like that. As of right now, all of our routes should be accurate. The trip side of it is doing very well. Our biggest thing starting this year is we've got to get our drivers to signing in and signing out so that their trip information and stuff like that can be updated on their tablet. I think Nikki even brought some handouts on some of the information for Travel Tracker. If you'd like to give them the handouts there, it gives you a little more information on what we've been working with Travel Tracker. It was a little more challenging than what we originally thought on the route side. The trip side done very well as soon as we started. The route side, Travel Tracker, the program, I think, was fighting with the GPS, and it was trying to send.
Can you hear him, Greg?
I can.
Okay.
Up routes that they wasn't supposed to be on. It was telling them to turn on roads that roads wasn't even there anymore. So Nikki and Grant have been working with Travel Tracker, and they really got the program down good now. They had to learn some tricks on how to override the system and make it do what we needed it to do.
Do you have more copies too? Can we keep them for Mr. Prudish and Mr.
Yeah,
Godfrey?
we'll go get them.
Okay, all right, okay.
Dr. Bowling will get.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Rose, I'm sorry.
But starting, like I said, starting this following year, we've got to get the drivers to make sure that they're signing in, signing out, and it is going to be a very big benefit to the transportation department as far as helping the subs know the routes, helping the drivers. The ones that take trips and things like this, it'll give them directions to the trip. They will be able to log their trip on their tablet, and the information from the trip will then go straight to
payroll instead of coming through our office, then being forwarded to payroll.
So how do you see it actually having a financial impact?
In the time alone that it's saving, our department and the payroll department is a big savings, and the time that it takes these drivers to get out here and, hunt for a route where now they'll have their routes in hand on the tablet and ready to go.
Does that answer your question?
It was never
Greg?
intended to be
It does, but do we think that we're gonna have some fuel efficiency savings?
Did you hear that?
By more efficient routing?
He said absolutely.
And that alone with counting the routes that we,
consolidated.
combine and consolidated, our fuel rate, will be down, and our maintenance rate should be down this following year.
Okay.
We're trying to make our department as
That's
efficient
good.
as possible.
So we're really just basically getting up to speed on it at this point to really start seeing the
It was-
benefits.
Like I said, the route side of it was a bit more challenging than what we originally thought it was going to be, which naturally, when you're selling you something,
Sure.
it
always is.
Some counties it works great, in
Yeah.
other counties, we have to do a lot more work to get it to where it's at.
Right.
It was at the beginning of the year, we'll just have to kind of go with it, make sure that it's still doing what it's supposed to be doing. But as of right now, Grant and Nikki's been working with the drivers on it, and they're saying that as of right now, at the very end of the year, it was doing what it's supposed to be doing.
So you think we're ready to go the beginning of this
I
year?
think we'll be ready to go.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can I just add one?
Sure.
thing as well? We are down almost $200,000 in FY '24 in transportation costs over '23. And we projected based upon that, we'll be down another $300,000 at least.
Wow.
Next year.
That's awesome.
There you go.
2 years, $500,000.
That's amazing.
Now,
Right.
it's not just because of this software.
Sure.
Necessarily.
It's because of other reworking as
Because
well.
Dave's such a good guy.
It's been a lot of work.
Say
Yeah.
it again, Mr. Bailey.
This is because of Dave's and Nikki. I hear your name a lot.
She said don't tell him that, Nikki said, so. Ms. Prudich and Nikki and Dave Rose are both here
Yeah,
in
thank you all for
in
being here
person.
to provide info and answer our questions.
Well, thanks for all your hard work. I know you're working to make this work as best we can get it to work.
Yeah. Okay, if no one else has any other questions, then let's vote on that memo 405. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So that passes 4-0. Okay, moving on. Next memo is Board Memo 406, Budget Supplements and Transfers. These are supplements and transfers that are necessary from February 1st, 2024 through June 18th, 2024. Budget transfers are $17,180,624.67. Budget supplements of $21,152,672.88. In addition, the superintendent requests that we authorize the treasurer to be able to make necessary transfers from June 19th to June 30th to finish out this year. And this will be requested annually at the last regularly scheduled board meeting. And Mr. Taven recommends approval. Do I have a motion on that memo?
No, these are
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
just for mechanical purposes. Is this the one that goes on forever? When you start scrolling down and stuff?
It's
Yes.
a lot, yes.
Yeah, and
It's very
since-
long.
And since you mentioned that, President, or Mr. Hodges, 412 pages is what we have on that packet, so what we're saving right there, that's a ream of paper is 500, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing, some different things there that, sometimes I'm carrying out a heck of a
We
bunch
need
of paper just to
charge
take
Jim
home
for
and
his
shred.
paper.
Oh, no, you don't, because my thing wouldn't work. It
I know,
wouldn't
mine's not
download.
working either. Well, it wasn't working until tonight, but,
So I just wanted to, we'll get all those things, we're moving
I'll
forward.
pay for the paper.
okay.
You need to be good.
Don't be testy. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm just being honest.
Well, let me get down to where we're supposed to be now. That is, yeah, if we could
406.
tab it, that would be
I'm
helpful.
already looking, I think I've already found the way.
Oh, awesome. I mean, it doesn't have to be a tab, but it could be something.
No, there is a way to tab on PDFs. There
Okay.
is a way to tab.
Oh, good. Well,
I don't know how
Amber's-
labor intensive it is.
Amber's
but
on
it
it,
can be done.
so, yeah, I know, I'm still one too. I don't wanna miss where I'm supposed to be, so I don't wanna go too fast.
It's page 286 is the next amendment.
Oh.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
they don't
'cause
all
yes,
have pages, though.
up the top, on the top
Oh,
left,
at
you
the
see,
top.
see that?
73.
Where do you see a page on the top left?
Right
I'm on my
above the
phone, I'm
writing.
sorry, maybe it's
I
not
don't see a
wrong.
page.
Okay.
Page 95,
This doesn't give a page on this. I don't know.
And we got new iPads
Uh,
coming that may be here next week, so.
157.
I think this is into, hold on.
Hey, I got that.
So what am I looking for next? Financial statements? I'm too far, because I'm into.
Don't we have to vote on the supplements transfers first?
We do.
We just,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
We
Okay,
do.
you're right. Okay, thank you, Greg. All right, let's vote on supplements and transfers as we look for our next one. So that's Board Memo 406 that we just discussed. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So that passes 4-0. All right, thanks, everybody, for keeping me straight.
407.
Did you find it? I think I'm in
Just got to
407.
get to the color and then back up a little bit.
I think I'm in 407, but I gotta get back to the beginning of it.
Well, just a heads up, I'm looking at 407 and it's contracted services agreement.
Oh,
occupational safety.
no. I don't
But
understand
it's
what's
another
going
one,
on.
just the wrong title.
Just the wrong title page. I don't
Right.
understand that.
Because the document, the supporting document for what we're gonna talk
We
about
got
is
that
there.
document in hand here, too.
Yes.
Because it's a long document as well.
It is.
And I'm in the midst of it, trying to find the memo on this iPad. So I'm getting there. I'm scrolling. Holy cow. Did you find it, Paul?
I thought I
Yeah, you
skipped
sure
it.
you're going the right way?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm in financial statements. I know what those look like. Okay, here we go. Now because yours is correct for whatever reason. Yeah.
No, I think
This,
that's the occupational therapy.
yeah, that's because you have mine, and I have yours, but this one's right.
But that one
Okay.
is correct.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Board Memo 407, FY 93 audited financial statements. So those are attached, as well as those of us here in person got a bound copy. And these are financial statements as of June 30, 2023. And they were audited by Perry and Associates, who we normally use for our auditors. And Mr. Toman recommends that we accept the audited financial statements. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
The only question I have is not really a question so much, but it is. I was given a lot of grief over the fact that this audited statement wasn't on our website and that it has taken so long for it to be audited and placed on our website. Since this is an open hearing, I would like Leslie to explain to the public, like she did to me, when we turned our stuff in, when they had the information, and why it's now here when we're finally approving it.
So our financial statements were finished September 30th of 2023, as is required by law. We submitted those to the state at that point. Perry and Associates had our information available at that time. They did not really start our audit until January. They were supposed to be finished by the end of March. They spent a tremendous amount of time. They're extremely thorough, and it took them until the end of May to get these finished. So ultimately, it was in their hands. We can't make them complete their audit any quicker. I will say that
Several.
there's just a tremendous amount of information. And some of the things, it was slower this year because we've never done this. I had nothing to go on when you said send me this. I said, can you send me what you had last year?
Right.
And I would have to go try to find, how to get that information. So, I'm sure that was part of the inefficiency, just because I didn't know what he needed, he expected. I have already asked him if he can start in December next year so that we will get this done even quicker. Have not gotten a response, but if you agree, I will push and tell them the board requested that this be done even quicker. But by law, they have until March 30th of the subsequent year.
But they were later than that this year?
Without an extension. They filed an extension.
Okay.
Leslie, I think you need to tell us what you
We were in
need
compliance
for
with
approval,
all
not,
see
of our
those pictures on
deadlines. Is
here.
that
because you know
correct?
what's gonna work
One
best for
second,
you.
Mr. Purdich, Jim,
Oh, I'm sorry, I
no,
didn't hear.
Mr. But,
I
Mr.
can repeat
Purdich.
his question
Go ahead.
once Jim's finished. Go ahead, Jim.
Absolutely. If I have your support, I will say, I will reemphasize, this is not only my request, this is our board's request that we start in December. Absolutely.
And Greg just wanted to verify, for you to verify that we were in compliance and met all of our deadlines.
Absolutely. We were completely in compliance, met all of our deadlines with the state and with the federal government for all of our submissions.
And the unaudited information was with the state auditor in September of last year, is that correct?
That's correct. It was published in the paper. The unaudited
This is
financial
Paul's,
statements were
which is
published
right
in the
in
paper in
like
October
yours.
of
I don't
last year.
understand it.
I just do not publish, that is published by law in the paper in October and submitted by September 30th to the state. The audited financial statements are what we post on our website. That is not required by law. But we do that, we just started doing that this year, and we did that to assist the public. And we will publish these after it's approved by the
This is after tonight, those will be on the website after we approve them.
Ms. Harrison and I have already discussed it, and we said it will be published tomorrow.
Perfect. All right.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
I just wanted to confirm some mistaken beliefs by some in the public that we were doing anything inappropriate or wrong. We've done everything exactly the way we're supposed to.
Absolutely, you're correct, Mr. Bruce. We have done everything correctly in compliance with state and federal gas and gas law.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions about the audited financials? Okay, so we have a motion and a second, so all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And so that passes 4-0. Okay. Now we are on to Board Memo 408, Workers' Comp Policy Renewal. Our, I'm not sure if this one will need to be pulled because there's numbers in the memo, but I mean, I'm sure they're in these documents as
They are.
well.
They're in the
The
documents.
supporting documents are there. All
Okay.
I need to know is the premium amount.
Okay, so this is our current workers' comp ends June 30th, 2024. We have a renewal from Encova for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2025, in the amount of $314,152. Our comp for the current year premium is $300,432, so that's less than a $14,000 increase. And Mr. Toman recommends that we approve our policy for, again, the total of $314,152. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Yes.
I just would comment that given our risks that we had in the past couple of years, that is not a significant increase in our premium because we had some pretty major claims in terms of the cost to our carrier. And, I mean, I'm looking at the cost of the carrier exceeded our premium, so by a lot. 500, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, we've got almost $1 million in incurred claims.
Yeah, Ms.
since,
Willman's okay with you about that.
2020, 2019. So, I mean, that's not a bad increase on our premium.
Yeah. Okay, Jim?
Page 5, when they've got included, excluded individuals, they've still got Jane's name on there.
I did make that.
You might
correction.
oh,
We
okay.
reviewed this, I just had to get it out to you all so quickly, but
That's
that
fine.
will be corrected in our actual policy.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Comment, in reading through here, when we look at what our budget is, as large as it is, and when we spoke to everybody we could see during the pre-levy, 86% of our budget is fixed, stuff that we've got to do. But there's whatever's left over, 14%, and out of that are things like this. And being in insurance, I know that there are ways to mitigate claims if you do certain things. So I read through the report, and I even reached out to my little buddy over here to ask some questions. So there are things that we can do as a system, and it comes with training and education with our employees to make sure that we're doing safe things in the workplace, regardless whether it's a teacher in the classroom or walking down the hall or one of Tom's people that are up on a ladder somewhere. We got to make sure that we're doing the things. And if we can get the mods down, because they have gone up every year, and one of their comments in here was that if we did some training and education and maybe some other type programs, we could get the mods down. So rates are based on your mod calculations. So if we can do that, then we need to make whatever efforts necessary to get it done.
I agree with you, Jim, we should do the training programs, but these programs where they want us to basically not hire people that may not be in perfect health, I absolutely, totally, and 100% object to.
Well, that's against the law, Greg.
Well, then explain to me why we're doing examinations and evaluations of people to see if they can meet the minimum requirements for jobs.
Well, that's a state thing, I guess.
No, it's not a state thing.
But
It's a
if the
comp
job
thing.
requires that you lift
Yes.
50 pounds and you
And
can't
you-
lift it going in, you can't perform that job. So those are the things, and I know Dr. Philipek's not here, and Ray can maybe able to speak to some of that better than I can, but I don't think that the testing that she's been doing is discriminatory at all. But we need people who meet the minimum requirements,
specs.
such as lifting, so that, one, we don't have a sub that we have to pay on top of that, but cooks, custodians, and this year, because of so many bites to aides and teachers, those have been our highest claims.
That's amazing.
So we really, I don't, personally, I don't oversee it, but I do not think that the testing that she's been doing is discriminatory at all.
It's not discriminatory in the terms of we're picking on people that are disabled. It's not scientifically sound. That's my complaint. I made that complaint a decade ago when we started this program, and I stand by it. It is not based in science. It is based in subjective assessment, and it is not a true picture of what someone does on the job. It's in a controlled setting in a PT office, and it's not fair. We need people in jobs, but we're excluding people because, they could get to 45 pounds, but they couldn't get to 50 in the PT's office when they regularly grocery shop and lift those kind of weights when they get their dog's food. So I got issues with it, but I just wanted to mention that because I don't mind safety programs and projects, but this idea that comp carriers tell us who to hire, I got a real issue with. But that's just me.
Are those examinations coming from the comp carrier?
The recommendations that we do minimum testing.
Okay. All right.
And again, I just think Dr. Philipek, she's the most familiar with that. She's the one who really speaks to that. But I do know, especially such as the board office, if those costs of the paper are heavy, if we can't carry those up and down the steps. We've got Mercer School, we've got Strader, we can't always, we're not ADA compliant, that we have tools, they have to carry up and down steps.
Okay.
We could probably save the money, just a thought, that if we would buy the tools that can be used to do that lifting upstairs, we would save the money we're spending on physical therapy examinations for employees and allow them to work safely without having to lift. The reality of it is when you go out into the world in places where lifting occurs, most employers are spending money on machines and resources to help lifting as opposed to saying, we're not going to hire you because you can't quite lift as much as we think you should. That's what's happening out in the world. But carriers that cover workers' comp don't want that, because they don't want people that are potentially injurable to be employed by you. And that's just the bottom line. I made this argument a decade ago. I will continue to make it. I've done this for a living for 40 years. I know exactly what they're doing and why. And if there seems to be some hostility in my voice, it's because I have hostility about it. What they're doing is wrong, and I will always believe that. I'm not saying what we're doing is wrong. I'm saying what they're doing is wrong, because our premium is greatly affected by it.
Okay.
What would be our choice if an employee had an objection or something, if it was a close evaluation or whatever, Mr. Prudich? What could we do that way? Because I've got a couple in my head that I think would be great.
It's like if you're blind, you can't be an airline pilot. It doesn't matter how much you want to be an airline pilot. You can't be an airline pilot.
Yeah.
Period. Because you can't be blind and do that. But when you're talking to someone and you're saying to them, the expectation is you can lift 50 pounds. But in real world, when you actually watch the job performed, they're probably not lifting more than 30 pounds ever. Then that's when the questions start popping up in my mind. And that's what happens, because the analysis, we're not making the analysis. It's being made in the insurance industry out in the world to address their concerns, not the real world day-to-day concerns that we have. I've seen people and I've known people that have tried to get jobs that can't get them because they don't quite meet the criteria. An aide, of course now aides are going to go up to third grade, so the weights will go up. So we're going to tell our aides now you have to be able to lift 60 pounds, because third graders probably weigh that much, don't they?
I'm sure some way more than that.
We're going to say they have to be able to lift 60 pounds now because we're going to exclude a lot of our good aides. They're not going to be able to do it. So that's what I'm talking about. It's those kind of things that are distressing to someone who's watched this for a lifetime, and the way it's done. And it's done to reduce not our liability, but the insurance carrier's liability. That's the bottom line. And because the premium can be adjusted so significantly if we don't do the things they want us to do, or they can refuse to insure us at all, we don't have a lot of, there's not a lot we can do. But I can object strenuously publicly, so the public at least knows.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any comments or discussion? Okay. We have a motion and a second. So all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Greg,
I'm not voting.
not voting. Okay.
It's not voting.
Okay. So that passes 3-0, and 1 not voting. All right. Last on the agenda this evening is Board Memo 409, Personnel. The personnel agenda is attached. This format is much easier to read than the last one, so I like that. Whoever's responsible for that, thank you. Is that you, Amber? The personnel format being different, it looks a lot easier to read this time. Thank you.
Some other occupational therapy.
Oh, is it? Okay, I don't understand, but you have the actual agenda. Okay. All right. Okay, you can see it a lot better than last time. Do I have a motion for approval? Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on the personnel agenda?
Nope.
Anyone? Okay.
There's nobody here.
No, Crystal's not here.
We've
no.
got, I just saw, and I was gonna ask her, we're approving someone that last week, the week before, we approved him to be a wrestling coach or some type of a coach at Princeton, and now we're approving him to be a different coach at Princeton, at Bluefield High School. And he was the wrestling coach at Bluefield, and then we approved him to be at Princeton, but he never resigned the Bluefield job. and I was just
Is it
curious.
the same sport?
Yeah,
Oh,
and the same guy.
that'd be difficult.
But anyway, just no big deal.
Okay.
Actually, that is a big deal.
I mean, it
Yeah,
would
that-
need to be resolved, obviously.
Yeah,
But
I've
can you ask
got,
Dr.
I got
Phil
note
talk
of
about
it.
that?
Yeah, I've got note of it. I'll talk to,
Travis Francisco.
Okay. So you'll talk to Dr. Philippuk about that. Is she
Yeah.
out this week?
yes,
Okay.
along with, and Mr. Collins is here, so I don't know whether he can get the resignation that way. At least we'll get that in order that way from
I
Mrs.
mean, I'm
Zigafus is
99%
out.
sure, because I asked, why is he moving over there? And it's on the agenda for
Personnel,
approval.
yeah, gotcha, good deal.
Do we
Thank
need to
you.
pull that, or we just leave it on there?
Well, you got the,
Like, pull his listing on this agenda, or no?
I don't know, it's,
I don't think we can. I don't think we can pull individual people off of the personnel agenda, can we,
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh, I
Jones?
don't know.
I mean, you can, and
I
you
mean,
guys have the
before
authority
we've
to do that.
scratched people, like, we mark people off like when they rescind their resignation or whatever, so what would be?
Well, that's true. That's true.
what would
So
be the
I mean,
difference?
I'm comfortable with that. We don't have the resignation, how are we hiring them? I think
I
that
don't
we
have
should
any
have
knowledge
that.
of that, but if it's a question, we could always pull it and do it on Monday. There's not gonna be any wrestling before Monday.
What's,
It's different things.
Okay, what's the difference?
For June 10th, you said Francisco, right? He was listed, it's rolled on, as head wrestling coach for Princeton High.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this one is assistant weightlifting coach.
But he was the head wrestling coach at Bluefield High all season.
Well, then we've already approved that one, so that,
For last year.
for last
This
year.
year,
So he's moving.
he's moving to Princeton.
I didn't.
Is
I'm
he a
okay.
volunteer coach?
Yes.
Well, then you
Well,
don't have
no.
to resign.
No, he's not.
Oh.
He's paid. He went to school.
and those are posted every year, redone, so that's the issue too, probably
Okay.
with that issue, so
My
it's
bad.
redone, so.
Well, again, Mr. Timon, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're an employee, we don't repost. If you're not an employee, we do repost. Is that correct?
That is correct. So,
So is he a regular employee?
so he is not,
Bus
he's,
driver,
yeah.
part-time bus
Oh,
driver.
So
okay.
he's not a,
So they just have a one-year contract and it's over.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
So he wouldn't have to resign then.
It's not
No.
like Ernie Gilliard or any of those others
No.
who were teachers. Okay.
Okay, so we think we're good.
I apologize
That's
to
all right.
everyone.
It's always good to be
Hey,
safe.
good to clarify, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so, any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Uh-huh.
Opposed, and that passes 4-0. Okay. So now, we're ready for administrative notes?
we are, and I don't have anything else. Dr. Atkins, anything? No, thank you. Mrs. Wellman?
We will again be bringing back some more stickers and supplements. We should have most of the supplements done, but I did not get Fund 12 finished before we submitted this, so that's the only one, and then some Fund 61s. I've mentioned to some of you all that the state is looking at a mentoring program for new treasurers, and they're going to be talking about a grant that they're going to give us, each county that's had a treasurer under 3 years, for the first 3 years, they're gonna give us $20,000 to use for training. We'll have to put that out for an RFP. Last year, we used Settle and Stalliger for helping us prepare this monstrous template after we get the financials done. There are actually 3 treasurers who have formed an LLC, and they want to charge about a third of what the other company we used last year. And so, I spoke with Mr. Cohen about it. One of the treasurers is Greenbrier County. He's already been kind of mentoring me through this other company, but the rate will be cut into.
So these are 3 current treasurers that are doing this on the side?
That may eventually, and some of them contract themselves out on their vacation days and do a lot of work. I know Tyler County's treasurer is constantly working with several counties out there, so.
So, it will not exceed the limit, but we plan, I spoke to Mr. Kevin about it this morning. We prefer to go with these 3 treasurers versus Settle and Stalliger for next year. It won't require board approval, but we just want to make.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a good choice to me.
Oh, yes, and, We actually have a meeting tomorrow with WVU Health to talk about a partnership. We had a wonderful meeting with Marshall, and they knew Danielle, they knew several of the teachers here at Tech, were very complimentary. Their cybersecurity program, they're coming in fall, their cybersecurity program has a significant number of certifications that I can't even pronounce. But it was a great meeting. They want to partner with us, not only through the CT programs, but to continue to program with us through others. I think there was Amy and Angie and Jenny and Rosemary, who were in the room, and like 5 of the 6 of us have had kids or grandkids or others who've taken programs through Marshall and for credits and certifications. And they said they were extremely excited. Mr. Tillman has a meeting in a couple weeks with their president as well. So we're very excited. We've already got dates. They're coming down to meet with our students. Danielle was on the ball, sent that right away. Rosemary might can speak to that more, but those are the big things with that. And related to funding, once we cross this path, Amy has already been working with CMM. We'll get some sketches together, and then we'll go seek funding after we get these final things done.
Ms. Mitchell?
I'm right there with Leslie, just excited about what we've done. I will tell you that we did do a Teams meeting with Concord, and it was Dr. Bogus, and then, I take that back, it was not Dr. Bogus, it was Dr. Liptak, and then a couple of the staff members she had over there, and I think maybe somebody from the community, but we didn't get anywhere. Pardon me?
Jill Cox from the community, wasn't she?
It might have been her. I can't
She was at one meeting, so.
Yeah, the lady that was on there this day, and I wish I can't see, so I didn't go get my notes this evening.
I have to get it in when I
Because I'm
can.
going to read them, so I have her name on my desk in my boxes of stuff. But anyway, I can tell you exactly who it is later. But what I will tell you is that we didn't get anywhere. They still wanted us to do in person there. We asked if they would consider sending a staff member. They said they did not have an large enough staff to do that. We asked if we could Zoom, and they said no, that they had to be in person in order to do the program. So I think after we got off the phone, someone from their end, on Concord's end, spoke to Dr. Bogus. And so she had made a call to try to see what was going on. She and I spoke Friday a week ago. This past Friday, but the week before. And she was going to go back to Dr. Liptak and to those folks to see if she couldn't get something worked out, because the first question she asked Danielle and I was, can we not use Zoom? And I said that was my question specifically, and I was told no. I have not heard back from Dr. Bogus. I called over there this morning at 11:30 to see if she was in, and she wasn't in, but they told me they'd get the message to her. So I'm waiting to hear something from them before we can know anything more about what we're doing. We'd like to have them on board. We have everybody now on board that's, anywhere around us, and it's surrounding counties or, Marshall. The meeting with Marshall was just such an uplifting meeting after we had the one the day before with Concord.
Remind us again who all we do have agreements with now.
WVU, Marshall, New River, and Eagle State University.
Are all these just various agreements, or are they all for level up?
Well, the level up has a lot to do with the same type of things that dual credit does, but there are different paths. And what I'm not sure that people understand is with the CTE dual credit that the State Department has put into place, that doesn't pertain to level up or any of that stuff. It is the 4 areas that they feel there's a need, and that's in education, engineering, IT, and
Healthcare, yeah.
so those 4 areas is what the State Department has been set forth as CTE dual credits. We have dual credit in other classes and other programs, even right here in the county. But what we're working with and what we've partnered with these schools is because of CTE, to offer kids who want to go those pathways. And it's growing. Welding's going to be involved next year. They're looking at criminal justice. They're looking at auto tech. I mean, it's going to continue to grow for students. And what we were told, Marvin Woody who's the CEO at Conwell, said that if we have kids that go through welding here and get the dual credit, that they would start with $5 more on the hour than a student coming in for entry level. So, you know, it will help them, even if they're not going to college, because that's
Right.
the next question is, what about those kids? And it will help them, and then, of course, if they want to go to a higher education, like there's Hobart School in Ohio, that's a really well-known welding school, that they would have those credits to take. The biggest thing is just, you know, I think the one thing Concord wanted to stress to us a lot was they felt comfortable with the kids coming there. My question was who would be responsible for those kids? And, because for one thing, Mercer County Schools does not have a policy to block out in the 11th grade.
Right.
And they would start in the 11th grade. That would have to be changed. The other thing is for kids who block out, there's, you know, they go through all the paperwork for that. Once they're blocked out during the day, they can find them out. So we're not responsible for this. But if they're going back and forth from Concord to us, then, you know, we're gonna be involved in that. Concord said their attorney, drawn up people so that they would not be liable from their end.
But there's also issues with transportation, and that's gonna be very limiting for transportation.
It would be driving their cars and,
But the biggest, you're just waiting for President Bogus to get back with you, right?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, so.
I'm still
I
confused
think-
here, because I might talk to President Boggs himself. Concord, everything I've had a little discussions with and so forth, is all about the level up. Now, are these other agreements you have with every other college, how many of them are level up agreements?
none of them were established.
So
in
see, we're
level up.
talking apples and oranges here.
Well, that's what we're saying. We've talked about all this stuff and trying to pull it together, that you cannot, even though they both work with dual credit and trying to help the kids, we are very specific to what our programs are that we've done MOUs with.
So
And
it
we
sounds
would
to me
to
like
work with
level up
them.
is definitely a dead issue. Is there anything else Concord could?
I don't think it's a dead issue. It's just not part of what CTE has to offer. And that's what Dr. Boggs
Yeah,
is
that
trying
don't
to-
seem like CTE generally to me, so how do we,
Dr.
how do we
Boggs,
bridge that gap then?
well, that's what I'm waiting on. Dr. Boggs is supposed to call me back and give me some information. I think she and I will meet once she gets with her folks. One of the folks on that panel had said they had spoken to you, and I can't remember now. I don't, like I said, I
Well,
don't
I
remember.
spoke with Lip Tech, and Jill Cox is the one that got me started on
That
it.
may be,
She's a parent and also.
and also a teacher over
teaches at
there.
Concord.
Yes, that's who it would be, then, yes, because she was teaching there as well as a parent. But truly, what I'm waiting on right now is to hear from Dr. Boggs, so we can see what direction we need to go in and what we can do.
So is Concord, are they interested in level up? Is that where the level
Yes.
up's coming
Very
from?
interesting, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Concord is very involved in level up.
And that's what they're interested in pursuing. And we're more interested in pursuing
Before
CTE.
these CTE-based programs. Doesn't mean we can't do level up, but we still would have, whether they came through CTE or whether they come through the high schools, the whole high school.
Right.
You know, there's still some things we would have to make different. from
Well,
our
just a
policies.
lot of logistical issues, yeah.
And that's what we're waiting on, and I really think Dr. Boggs will try to come up with something that will work. But right now, we're just, you know, we're in limbo.
It is, and I think what she just said is exactly right. The reason that I'm got involved when we are looking for the Tech Ed Center and growing that, and looking for funding from that. However, we did include Angie Rose Close and Ellen Rosemary's role. She will be more, non-CTE as well, but this whole procedure was to try to get the certifications and the partnerships through the CTE, and that's what the cybersecurity, that's what the IT, that was the relationship with Marshall, and then WVU Health, we're trying to grow.
That's what,
So, that's who we're meeting with tomorrow, and that's, this is all CTE related.
Well, Concord now has cybersecurity as well, so
But
that
again,
would be a
we're
good,
talking CTE.
Right.
And the program, and, not level up. This is what this is. Now, Angie First Post may, that might be an initiative you want her to take on even more, but right now, we're just really trying to get this program, because we've got to.
Well, so to narrow this down a little bit more, if I understand Level Up correctly, it's IT, healthcare, and if there's another program, education.
Engineering.
Am I wrong in that?
Engineering and social.
Engineering and social work.
All right. So we're looking for dual credit in all those areas, whether it's just CTE or not, because we're looking for dual credit in all those areas. We just have to work out the logistics of it, and that's the big problem is the logistics of it. You know, if you work there and you got a kid on campus, you're going to feel fairly secure because you're there to watch them.
Right.
But the vast majority of our kids that are going there are not going to have parents there to watch them
Or to transport them there.
or to transport them. So what I've always thought would be beneficial, and the idea I always thought was we need to be, our local colleges or universities need to be offering dual credit to expand the opportunities of our students to earn them while they're in high school at lower or no cost. So when they get out of high school, they have a jump start. And we've been doing that in some classes in the past, but it seems like in these new areas where we have, for example, Grow Your Own, which leads to college and leads to a teaching degree, that seems to be consistent with this Level Up, but also in competition with Level Up in a way.
Would you say so?
Is that part of the problem?
Do you see those in competition, Rosemary?
I really think when Mr. Critter said the logistics, I really think that's more than anything, is we don't cater right now to the same group of people that they're wanting to bring on campus, because we're trying to bring them, leave them in public school during the day and transport them here and get them back home and give them their lunches. If they are over there, then, we're gonna have to change the things that we do as a county, then they would be responsible for our records. We wouldn't have them to be, there's just those kind of things that no matter what program we're in, we're gonna have to look at those things.
Well, if you're a college, if you're a high school student, we have to provide you a lunch, right?
Yes, but I.
Well, how do we do that if they're on a college campus? Do
Right,
we
so
pay for their
that's-
lunch?
That's one of the
Have
issues.
That's one of the issues.
Have you or anybody at any time checked with Monroe County and Summers County and seen how they're pulling off this miracle?
They're,
That
well,
we can't even get a clue on?
part of the thing with Monroe and Summers, and in fact, I talked a long time to the superintendent of Monroe County when we were at this conference last week. They don't have a lot of opportunities for the kids, so they're welcoming any chance they can get. But their kids are having to drive to Concord.
Sure.
They're not getting any kind of help. They're releasing them, but, they have made that agreement to do that. And I think theirs is more out of, we want to give our kids something and we can't offer it. We can't give it to them, so we'll let them go.
I don't think, we can't offer them,
That limits the ones that can't come, absolutely.
we can't offer them 60 hours of free college credit in 2 years.
Yes, we can. We are.
We are. We had 5 students graduate from New River with 68 credits in May 6th. And they're starting at Fairmont State and West Virginia Wesleyan in August as juniors in the Grow Your Own program.
So it is kind of competition.
So the Monroe County kids are basically signing out essentially.
In summers.
Whatever grade they're in. So the school system's not responsible for that.
And the way the program works, basically, they essentially become college students.
Yeah.
They still can play sports and stuff at the school.
If you're gonna do that, then you should just graduate early and go to college.
Students full-time.
Look,
Yeah, I don't understand that
Well-
logic, but.
we will get the answers, and
Okay.
Mrs. Mitchell, like I said, Mr.
I'll
Brown,
get Dr. Bogus and
Yeah.
she can get back with me.
yeah, good deal.
Okay.
Good.
Any other updates
No.
from anybody else?
Dr. Bowling, anything?
I will scan, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Hodges, your thing we signed today for your oath of office with everybody's signature and notarized. I'll scan it and email it to you. You'll have your own copy of it.
Good.
I don't need that.
Good.
Thank you.
Mrs. Harrison? Mrs. Harrison? And you did get you sent an email up to this ZMM, and we'll get that, Mr. Prudich asked before, with the CEFP amendment. That's it.
I got most of it done, CMM just needs to help me with the cost and budget. And once we have that, then we can bring it to the board for approval.
Did you hear that, Mr. Prudich?
I did.
Gotcha, good deal. So, anything else, Mrs. Harrison? No? No? Mr. Atkins? No? Mr. Rhodes?
Well, one of the things I was going to mention is, I spoke with you the other day about, our inventory, our fixed off inventory. We're working on this, building up here now. I've been off for a week on it, we've been working on it, making progress on it. I spoke with Mr. Baber, the state director of transportation, and about our inventory system and all that. And he assured me that he was already put in for us to get the points for that on our scoring for this year.
And if you recall, last year, remember we got a needs improvement in the transportation department over
Yes.
points and having inventory. So Mr. Baber is retiring, and we didn't want him to leave, and then all of a sudden Mercer County get some, because I got no email or anything. Mr. Rhodes got that information, and I was a little shocked because I never had that in my career. So we're going to make sure we got that corrected.
Yes, and we have made a lot of changes out there. Our defect rate on the buses is down tremendously from what it was last year. We've been working hard on getting all of our reports into the state on time. And like I said, Mr. Baber assured me that he had already put in for us points for the inventory system, since we're already in the progress of getting that set up. So I feel that this year we're going to be in really good shape on that.
Good deal. Good deal. Thank you. Ms. Noble, anything?
No, I will just say that, the special ed department received a grant, and so we're doing a summer academy August 14th and 15th with, various training on behavior, that's kind of geared towards preschool, school age, and high school, and we, as of today, still have about 41 participants registered, so I feel like that's really good for
Is that students or teachers?
teachers.
Good. Thank you. Mr. Murphy back there, last director. No, thank you. Thank you. Anything else?
I don't have
Smith?
anything else. Nope.
No. Yeah, but they're not on the director, so we're good.
So-
Board comment, discuss?
You?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, well, seems like we just have a little bit of discussion time we never do.
Yeah.
I know there's several people expressed interest in phones and eliminating phones from the school, and I would really, really like us to see that on the agenda soon.
And I can give you an update. The state board is also looking at a policy, so you got the Attorney General just brought that up, but that is also looking at by the state board, that the state superintendent mentioned that the state board has brought that up on their agenda also.
But we still, even if we did, I think we would have to come up with how we're gonna do it and so
Yeah.
forth. But I wanna say that I'm presently, based on that idea, reading a great book. It's called The Anxious Generation.
Mhm.
It's the great rewiring of childhood and the causing of mental illness. I would highly recommend any board member who reads those type of things to read that book. It's The Anxious Generation. And basically, he is putting forth two things. One, we need to definitely eliminate the phones from the school. Lock them up when they come in the morning, give them out when they leave. And there's all kinds of benefits to that. Read the book and you'll find out. If you don't, I'll tell you later. And
You'll give us a book
typically,
report.
if I finish a book, and I'm almost finished with this one, I'll write up
You
notes
give us a
on it.
book report.
I'll give you a book report.
I like your book report.
And the other thing is more playful. How long is our recess period?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. That's a little bit more than I said. Average is 27. But he's arguing for more, we always are, more unsupervised play for kids, because that's where kids learn to do all these types of things, and they get over their anxious fears and get more confident. Reading through this book was like I was so thankful I grew up as it is, I went to Lee Road Elementary School. Our teachers let us out on recess. I never, ever, in 6 years there, saw a teacher on the playground. We had a great big playground. We had woods out back, we could go run the woods, little pine trees, everything. They talk about having playgrounds with movable objects, so they can build things and stuff. We took tree branches and made, we went across the street next to Center Rapids. But anyhow.
Well, you also probably rode in the back of a pickup truck without a seatbelt too. I mean, that's a different time.
I didn't do that much, but I
Wow.
hauled
Wow.
students to track meets
What's
for
she
years.
insinuating?
Is that not
about
true?
Well,
Well, absolutely.
I mean, I rode in the back of a pickup
Oh,
truck.
okay.
We all did.
Without a seatbelt.
Yeah.
anyhow, if you can, read that book. I will send you the book report.
Okay, sounds good.
Good.
Any other board members have any comments or discussion?
Just,
It was a fleeting thought. I'll think of it in a minute. Go ahead, Ed.
Okay.
no, and I've got the information to add to the July 1st meeting for Monday, and we'll get
Yes.
that out to you probably tomorrow or Thursday. They'll be that fast. And then I do have one expulsion that happened during the last incident that happened, so I have a waiver, and I think that's okay to say everything out loud. I have a waiver, if I could bring that to you, Mr. Prudich, and then instead of waiting to try to do it the other part of the year for the 10 days, you know what I mean? It falls into this, and I've got that, and I'll just bring you the information, have it voted on. The hard part is that conference starts at 8:45, and I want to be a big part of that, so as long as we're not in that meeting long on the 1st, that I
don't
want to
think
participate in
it'll
that
last
conference. So
long.
we're still good at 9 o'clock on Monday?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. Other than that, I'm good, Mr. Bailey. You had a question?
Do you think of it?
Pending his thinking of his question.
CRS, sorry.
I move we adjourn.
I would kind of go along with what Paul has said, which is I've been reading. I read more research than I do books, and it appears to me one of the reasons our kids are so anxious is it's too much, too soon, too fast. We're just jamming everything on them. We want them to be adults by the time they're 9, and we tell them we don't, but that's what we push. We're giving them too much education too soon. We're not letting them understand what they're getting. We're just moving on, and it's creating anxious kids. And of course, we can't really do anything about that other than advocate with the State Department that maybe we need to rethink and slow down a little bit and push more when they're teenagers and a little less when they're in the tender years. A friend of mine is teaching in North Carolina, and they have 2 recesses a day.
Oh, that's what I remember now.
Is this in elementary?
Yes, they have 2 recesses in elementary a day. And I think I want to say they're 20 minutes each, I think.
Yeah. We had morning
And
and lunch.
it seems to deal, one of the comments was discipline seems to be less of a problem. So just a thought.
Good deal.
I remember now what I was thinking about. If you remember last meeting, we had Miss Valentine that came to speak to us, and I've asked you several times, Ernie, about why we're putting 5, 6, 7-year-old kids out in the dark at 6 o'clock in the morning in the wintertime to catch a bus instead of 12 to 17-year-old kid out that way. Is there any conversation, thought about reversing the role? I mean, that would be.
I mean, that would.
Doesn't that cause a transportation issue because of the time and additional in secondary?
If you're talking about like flipping our whole system, I think that's
That's they pick up high school and elementary kids at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, if they have to get the elementary to the school first, because they serve breakfast, and their school takes up, then they go to the high school, and the school drop off.
Okay.
And that can be something that we would have to discuss.
And we do need to look at it, but I did go through and look at those the first time she came, and it's not uncommon for primary age children to pick up at 6:30, not 5:30 or 6.
Yeah.
Because doors open at 7, and party bells ring at 7:20, 7:25, so 7:30.
What's that?
These, yes, all right.
The Spanish first school, and then like you probably just started at 6 o'clock. Picking up because of how far he has to transport them.
If there's not many buses.
But no, that's not.
Well, I understand.
I-
I feel like that we owe it to at least look at it, and you, obviously, you all
Inspectors already
look
done
at
that,
it,
right?
and be prepared for an answer.
I thought I asked that, I thought I asked that when I first got on the board, and the explanation I was given was that where the secondary day is what, an hour longer, essentially, right?
It is more minutes.
So if you start secondary first and then start elementary, they're both gonna be getting out at the same time, and we can't handle dismissals both at the same, I mean, that was the explanation I was given when I asked about that a long time ago.
And another thing
That secondary goes last.
Secondary, can't be doing anything at that time of
Need
morning.
more sleep,
We
right?
talked about your bus drivers, and it appears that there are a lot less students on the buses in the morning than there are in the afternoon, and a lot of it is because parents are bringing kids to school. But also, I hear from a lot of the high schools that I'm in, part of the tardies are because kids are too sorry to get out of bed to catch the bus. There wouldn't be tardies if they rode your bus. They'd be at school on time, but they come in 30 minutes late, 20 minutes later, they're,
They'll have more kids on the bus in the morning than they do in the evening because it's split. You're going elementary first, then
yeah, the total number.
I don't mean to be that guy, but we're getting dangerously close to discussing something that we might make a future decision on when it's not on our agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we wanna put that on the
Okay,
agenda
Greg,
for
be that
later or
guy.
something?
Do you?
I'm sorry.
Paul's been sitting on the edge of his seat for the last 10 minutes. I've been running my mouth
But-
because he wants to get out of here.
And I want to,
We got a motion on the floor.
I would like to, I'd like for you guys to understand too, we finish this meeting, and then in 6 days, we got another agenda to put out. How do we get all this answers when we got summer and trying to get some stuff? So give us a minute to try to get some stuff together while we're transitioning. Excuse me? Mrs. Mitchell was in the process of moving to her position. She came up and got her office, so we're just trying to get some transitioning done. But I promise you, we'll look into that and try to get some research to you. But that's the hard part with these requests, and then still trying to get through the normal operation of our school system. And that's the hard part when you're asking those things. And I get it.
We're not gonna flip it.
We're not going to flip it this year.
Well, I don't think between now and
Well,
August, we're not.
And like I said, we just come back from a quick conference, and I know you said I make the big bucks, but look, I understand.
There would have to be an exploration of alternatives and how they would work.
I
It's
got
not
you.
gonna be a quick decision
I
or something
know,
like
and
that.
there's,
It's hard to,
and I think about this stuff all the time.
but
And there's another thing that I'll bring up next time.
good deal.
In fact, I'll send you a note.
There's a motion on the floor, I call the question.
Did you make your motion? I didn't hear you
Yes, I
make
did.
it. Okay.
About 15 minutes ago.
I don't think there's anybody seconding it. Maybe Greg will.
It has not been
So he
seconded.
can
that's
go.
correct.
Do I have a second to adjourn? Greg?
Okay. Yeah,
Greg
absolutely.
says he can second. Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. And we are adjourned. Okay,
We got,
thank you, Greg.
What we got?